Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hold it. Get out that thing. Come on, man. I took up the wall. I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's what I said, Larry, on the Bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you can call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.
How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Pieces of blessings upon all my AKHis and all my sisters out there. Welcome to Boxing Hood episode 1. And with me today, I have a very, very special guest. He was my guest on Split Decision, the first one, now as an interim champion. He's making his return on Boxing Hood, first episode. So I truly appreciate David Morrell Jr. I have him with me on the line, so I'm going to go ahead and connect him.
Hi, man. How you doing?
How you doing, champ? How are we feeling today?
I'm good, man. Good. You?
I'm feeling great. So David Morrell obviously had a fight on PBC on a successful card because they did 1.3 million views on PBC. Obviously, PBC is the UFC of boxing. David Morrell is a Cuban sensation, one of the best Cuban fighters. He defected to the United States, and now he's fighting under PBC. David Morrell fought Lennox Allen, who was 22-0, undefeated for the WBA Super Interim title, and made history with only 3 fights. He's 3-0 with a WBA Interim title. So congratulations, champion, for making history with only 2 fights and now 3-0 as a champion. How you feel?
No, I'm good, man. Good. Súper emocionado con la victoria, con todo lo que se hizo en el ring.
Super excited with the fight and everything that was done inside that ring.
Y como te puedo decir, súper complacido y contento con todo lo que pasó y agradecido con la oportunidad que se me dio y la supe aprovechar.
Like I said, super happy with the outcome of everything and the opportunity I was given to fight.
So the fact that you fought on PBC with only 2-0, it lets the people know your potential in the sport of boxing. You're only 22 years old. So how was the preparation for the fight, knowing the Rona and the fact that I'm pretty sure it was difficult to get sparring partners, et cetera, et cetera. So how was the preparation for the fight, knowing it's an interim title, the first time going 12 rounds, et cetera, et cetera?
Sí, se me hizo un poco difícil en el sentido de la distancia con mi oponente.
It was tough because, it's a distance from my opponent.
Pero de ahí en fuera, en el trabajo en el campamento, el trabajo en lo personal, en mi mente, mi enfoque, todo sí estaba al 100, estaba
But everything else, I mean, the work, the dedication, being up in camp, my mental state, everything, I was ready and prepared for all of it.
This was your first time going 12 rounds. More than, I believe the last two fights, you knocked your opponent out in 1 or 2 rounds. So what was the difference experiencing going 12 rounds or passing the 3-round mark? Because obviously as an amateur, you really don't go past 4 rounds in the Olympics. So how was your new experience in the pros going past that 3 rounds?
No, fue súper que, primero todo, súper que buena, porque le mostré a todos los seguidores, a todo el público que decía que sí puedo pelear a 12 rounds.
It was perfect. It was what needed to happen, as I showed all my followers and the, everyone that's there for boxing, that I can go the distance and can go the 12 rounds.
Y sí, el cambio fue muy fuerte, porque de 3 asaltos a 12 va mucho. Tuve que medir bien los tiempos, etcétera.
Yes, and the difference is huge. I mean, going from 3 to 12, I just had to, watch my timing and really focus.
No es lo mismo mantenerse 3 asaltos consecutivos tirando golpes que 12. Es algo un poco difícil.
It's not the same, being 3 rounds, throwing punches versus 12 constant, throwing punches. It's hard.
What would you say is the major difference, between amateur and pros? Is it really just the 12 rounds, the fact that you got to pace yourself and be selective with your shots, or is it more into it, like such as the smaller gloves, et cetera, et cetera?
La diferencia es todo.
The difference is everything.
Es todo. Yeah.
Right.
El time, ¿sabes? El tiempo, los guantes.
Gloves, yeah, all of it.
El saber cómo en un asalto poder atacar y en otro no.
How to measure each round, where to attack and when to not, depending how the fight develops.
So, llevar los tiempos por cada round.
Yeah, measure your time per round.
Right.
Es algo un poco difícil.
Yeah. Either way, you look good. You put on a show against an undefeated opponent. Again, Lennox Allen, who was 22-0. A lot of people thought that was a big step up, especially for a fighter that's only 2-0. So you definitely look great in there. Now, how was it fighting in a fanless arena? I mean, obviously during the PBC live, we were hearing back noises, but that was editing by PBC. However, you was fighting in a fanless arena. How was the feeling? What's your take on it? Because there's been a lot of questions raised that fighters might not enjoy it much. So what was your take on fighting in a fanless arena?
Hey, bro, me ayudó a enfocarme un poco más en la pelea.
Hey, bro, it helped me focus more on the boxing.
Yeah, man. So,
right.
Yeah, cuando hay público, cuando hay fanáticos, cuando hay público, cuando hay fanáticos, te da un golpe y la gente grita, y eso como que te desvincula de
when you
la pelea.
When you have fans, the difference is that if you get hit or if you hit, it gets loud and then it kind of blocks your hearing a little bit, which is an important technique to have.
Oh.
Hay boxeadores que, por ejemplo, que han perdido sus peleas por eso.
There's some boxers that have lost their fights because of that noise.
Llevan bien la pelea y le dan un golpe y el público grita, y se
there's been times where they'll get hit and then that noise, they'll kind of lose where they are a little bit.
Focus.
So, focus, yeah.
Enfocamiento. Hay otros que les dan y el público o le dicen, oh, it's good, pero la mente no está bien en la pelea.
There's times, you know, that the public, you'll get hit and the fans will boo, and you know, it kind of distracts you from that focus of, you know, getting back into the fight. So on his part, he liked it.
A mí lo personal me ayudó bastante.
It helped me a lot personally.
Right. So, I mean, you pretty much saying it keeps you on the tunnel vision, and the fact that there's no fans, there's no distractions. A lot of people did lose their fights because, you know, the crowd kind of come into play and the pressure is on. So I could see your perspective on that. Now, obviously, in the future, that's going to change. But either way, you captured the WBA interim title. Now, you know who holds the regular WBA title, which is Canelo Alvarez. Now, this is a fight that you obviously, I'm pretty sure you're looking forward in the future. Now, what's your take on Canelo Alvarez and a mega fight between you and him in the future? Because the last time Canelo Alvarez did fight a Cuban fighter, a lot of people felt like that fighter got robbed, which was Lara. So what's your take on that fight in the future?
Si no, cada cual tiene su punto de vista. En mi opinión, sí perdió esa pelea.
Everyone has, you know, their own take on the fight, but in my eyes, yeah, that fight was robbed from Lara.
Pero yo simplemente pienso que este fue el primer escalón. Ahora es poco a poco, ahora es...
But I believe this is my first step, you know, right now it's slowly but surely, and as taking my steps as I should.
Ahora es poco a poco seguir enfocándonos en lo que queremos y seguir adelante, lo que nos toca ahora.
Yeah, step by step, focusing on what we want.
Right. So you just fought on PBC return. Now, when do you expect to return into the ring? Is it going to be sooner than later? Because obviously of the Rona, et cetera, et cetera. So when can we expect David Morrell back in the ring?
Yo pienso regresar a a finales de este año. Pienso que se me dé otra oportunidad de otra pelea.
By the end of this year, I'm hoping to get an opportunity to fight again.
Y como mismo aprovechamos esta, seguir aprovechando la que viene.
And just like I took advantage of this one, I will be looking forward to any that come.
Right. So we'll be looking forward to seeing you again. Now, I know one of your favorite fighters is Mike Tyson. Now, he is making a return. So I must ask, are you going to watch Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones? And what's your take on Mike Tyson return? And what's your prediction on Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones? Who you got winning and why?
Man, no easy, man. Yeah. Depende. Mike Tyson, see, before the 3 rounds, is Mike Tyson no knockout, and Roy Jr. is the wings, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that if Mike Tyson by the 3rd round doesn't knock him out, it might be Roy Jr.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So you actually think that Roy Jones might actually have a shot against Mike Tyson if he goes past 3 rounds?
¿Tú piensas que si Roy Jones pasa más de los 3 rounds puede ganarle a Mike Tyson?
No, the 6.
6.
6. Okay, okay.
Porque Mike Tyson is more strong than Roy Jones Jr. You know?
Yeah.
Junior se mueve más.
Junior moves faster, but Mike Tyson is stronger.
Pero
right.
Antes tú podías tener una opinión porque eran más jóvenes, pero...
Before you could have an opinion because they were younger, but now...
Pero ahora son ya... La edad está arriba de ellos, ¿me entiendes?
The age is on top of them, you know, it's a factor.
No sé una opinión exacta, no sé.
I don't have an exact opinion, but something like that.
I agree with you 1,000% with that. You know, I believe if it goes a couple rounds and Mike Tyson doesn't knock him out by the 6th, like you said, I could see, you know, Roy Jones pulling it off. Now, I must ask because last show, we touched a little on this. So how important is it mentally and physically for Cuban borders to allow fighters and their family to travel back and forth? As I'm pretty sure that will be a huge weight off your shoulder to be surrounded with your families. And is there any upgrades on that when it comes to Cuban borders allowing fighters to travel back and forth, or at least their families?
Yeah, bro, 100%, man. I'm missing my family, man. So, si mi familia estuviera aquí, fuera algo, ¿sabes? Todo fuera muy diferente.
I miss my family, man. If my family was here, it would be something completely different for me, both mentally and physically.
Yeah, le doy gracias al Señor que aquí en Minneapolis encontré otra familia, ¿no? Pero
I'm thankful with the Lord that here in Minneapolis I was able to find a second family.
Las personas que me acogieron allá a los Estados Unidos,
The people that, you know, were there for me when I first got here.
Mi manager Armando, Alexi, mis promotores, ¿sabes? Luis.
My manager Armando, Alexi, promoters Luis.
Luisito de Cuba Jr. Pero la familia es la familia.
But family is family, you know.
Right. And obviously, you know, fighters supposed to live the fighter lifestyle, and you as a fighter, obviously you away from your family. So how difficult is it? Because I know it's important to live the fighter lifestyle. You have to, as a fighter, not smoke, not drink. But how difficult is it to stay focused and be on that tunnel vision when you're pretty much solo or alone, you know, because you're not surrounded by your family? How difficult is that?
No, la diferencia es que te ayuda mucho a estar en mejor condición física.
The difference is that it helps you, you know, being fit physically at all times.
Te ayuda a tener más confianza en ti.
You have more self-confidence. That helps that way too.
Porque sabes que estás haciendo lo correcto.
Because you know you're doing the correct thing.
Y tener tu familia cerca.
And having your family close.
Te ayuda mentalmente, espiritualmente, en todos los sentidos, que sea algo de emociones.
Helps you with all emotions. I mean, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually.
Y ese apoyo siempre hace falta en todo ser humano.
That support you will always need.
Okay. Now, I have a segment called, you know, fans questions. Obviously, it's called Going Rounds with Fans. Now, they send me a lot of questions, which is, the first one is, who's your favorite fighter growing up? So, who is David Morrell favorite fighter growing up?
No, mi favorito boxeador no tengo uno en específico.
Favorite boxer, I don't have one in specific.
Simplemente de los mejores, capto los mejores y lo enfoco en mí.
Simply from the best, which is a lot, I take the best and I put it into use.
Can you name a couple fighters that are your best, like 5 of them, for example?
Yeah. Number one, man, Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Man. I love it, man. Roy Jr., Cuban, Ray Leonard, Piedra,
Roy Jones.
Yeah, man. Piedra,
Okay.
Duran.
Duran.
King Gavilan, man.
Who's the last one?
El último, King Gavilan.
King Gavilan.
Okay. Now the second question, that's a great list right there, you know, and I could see Mike Tyson in you, the way you be going forward looking for action, because I know you more of a boxer, but you also like to fight. Now, who's your favorite Cuban fighter? That question was also asked. From all the Cuban greats, who's your favorite Cuban fighter?
Bueno, después de mí.
After me?
Yeah, after you.
No, after me, I don't know, man. Right now, no favorite. No tengo ningún favorito.
Right now, I don't have a favorite.
No, so.
Okay.
Ahora mismo, yo uno que sí veo sería
Right now, one that I do keep my eye on.
Jordani Ugas,
Jordanis Ugas.
que lo sabe, está bien enfocado en su carrera,
He's
bien.
focused in his career, so
Es un excelente boxeador.
he's an excellent boxer.
Otro que me gusta también.
Another one that I like and follow.
No porque sea mi amigo en lo personal, pero sí me encanta el boxeo porque es un boxeo que.
Not because he's only a close friend, but because I love boxing.
Que nada que ver con lo que decían del boxeo de Cuba. Es el doctor Dorticos.
Dr. Dorticos.
Yeah, I'm familiar with him.
Yeah. He's right now two people the favorite.
Those are his two right now favorite that he would say.
Okay, yeah, those are two good fighters that I do watch all the time. Ugas do have a fight coming up as well on PBC. Now, there's a question asked: what's David Morrell' favorite movie? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if you much of a movie guy.
Pero the boxing?
Boxing or just in general?
All movies. They didn't ask specifically.
I'm looking cartoons, man. No.
He likes cartoons.
You like cartoon?
Yeah, man. So,
or Dragon Ball?
Anime, yeah, he likes anime.
Bro. Is the
Are you much of a Dragon Ball fan or not?
Dragon Ball.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Man. Yeah.
Oh man, hey, me and you on the same boat. I can't live without Dragon Ball, man. Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, all of them my favorite.
Yeah, so everything mangas are my favorite, man.
Right.
Yeah, bro. The one movie I'm favorite is The Punisher.
The Punisher.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that. A lot of people keep telling me to watch that. I'll be watching Power and all of that, but I'm gonna definitely check out for Punisher.
Yeah, porque trata sobre la familia.
Because it talks about family.
Y eso me recuerda mucho a mi familia y que por la familia se puede todo. Con la familia y por la familia se puede todo.
That, it reminds him of his family, and that with family and thinking about family, you can get through anything and everything.
Right. And hopefully you will be reunited with your family. And last question from the fans. They did ask, what's your hobby outside of boxing? If you do have a hobby outside of boxing, what is it?
Fuera del boxeo.
Hey, man, it's a game PS4, man.
What's your favorite game? Is it Fight Night? Is it Fight Night Champ or PS4? There's no much boxing. So what is your game that you love to play?
No game boxing, man. I'm FIFA. You know?
FIFA, okay.
Yeah, man. FIFA, Call of Duty. Call of Duty. I like soccer, man. No games no lo juego porque por las lesiones me puedo lesionar y eso, pero
I don't play soccer because I can, easily get hurt or injured, but I love soccer. He's actually really good.
Pero I love it, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love soccer too, man. That's one of my favorite sports. But obviously, like you said, you could get injured because they will kick your leg, if they can't aim right. So with that being said, man, it's a pleasure talking with you, David Morrell. Any thoughts you want to give out? Any fighter you want to call out? Any fighter you're looking for to fight in the future? It don't have to be just a call out or just a fighter you would love to share the ring with in the future, from Caleb Plant Benavidez to Canelo Alvarez. What's your take on them type of fights in the future that's going to define your career as the great fighter you want to be recognized as?
Sí, ahora mismo no tengo ningún peleador en mente.
Right now, I don't have a boxer in mind.
Solo estoy esperando terminar mis días que me quedan de relax.
Right now, I just want to enjoy the time I have and the days I have to relax from this fight.
Y esperando a mi siguiente oponente cuando mi equipo de trabajo y mi gente decía.
And wait for my next opponent when my team decides and business is correct.
Pero en un futuro sí, a todos.
But in a future, yes, all of them.
A todos, a todos. Y voy por todo.
I want everything.
Mi mamá me dijo siempre algo desde niño, que en el deporte tengo que ser ambicioso y
Well, my mom told me something from very young, and is that in sports you have to be ambitious.
Y lo quiero todo.
And
Todo
I
es
want
mío.
everything.
Yes, sir. So when you are expected to return again, it's going to be this year, right? For sure.
Retornaré este año por seguro.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So you heard it here from David Morrell, the one and only, the Cuban sensation, a future great to be in the sport of boxing. If you haven't caught his last fight on PBC, man, he looked tremendous against the undefeated Allen, who was 22-0. David Morrell was only 2-0 going up against Allen, where he put on a hell of a show. And if you didn't see it, you got to catch it either on PBC or on his upcoming fight. He will definitely show us love again and pull up on BoxingHood or Split Decision. You always show me love from day one. I appreciate you, David Morrell. I'm going to leave David Morrell Instagram in the comment section below and in the description box. So make sure you follow the future of boxing. So any last thoughts that you want to give out to the fans, David Morrell?
No, thank you everyone por su support. Gracias por estar ahí. Gracias por todo y espero lo mejor de David Morrell Jr.
Thank you for the support. Thank you for being there, for following me. Just expect the best out of David Morrell Jr.
Y aquí, gracias a ti por darme la oportunidad una vez más de salir aquí en tu programa.
Aki, thank you very much for once again giving me the opportunity to be on your channel.
Y espero lo mejor, sigan mi carrera, síganme de cerca y este año ocasioné la oportunidad de otra pelea.
Expect the best, follow me, my career, and expect the best next coming fight.
Y esperamos otra victoria más.
Another victory to come.
That's for sure. Man, I appreciate you, David Morrell. Like I always say, man, it's my pleasure. This is your show. This is your channel. And you definitely my AKHi. AKHi stand for my brother. And David Morrell is just not a fighter to me. You an AKHi of mine. You a brother of mine. So like I always say, man, follow my brother, my AKHi, the future of boxing, David Morrell. And I will definitely get caught up with you in the future. All right, David Morrell?
All right, bro.
All right. Peace, champion. So that's David Morrell for y'all. Follow him on Instagram. I'm going to leave his Instagram in the description box below. I'm going to leave it also in the comment section below. I'm telling y'all, if y'all haven't seen David Morrell fight, he's an exciting fighter. He always brings action. He's like Errol Spence at 168. He got power, technique, speed, skill. He got the whole package. He bring whatever to the table. So, you know what I'm saying? So you really haven't seen the best of David Morrell yet. We will see it in the future, inshallah. The best opponent's going to bring it out of him. And like I said, you know, he's only 2-0, now 3-0 as an interim title holder. He made history on PBC. He's under the biggest boxing banner, which is PBC. So with that being stated, I'm going to go ahead and go through commercials real quick. And then after that, we're gonna dive into straight boxing with my own broski, my own AKHi, and after that, I'm gonna pick up calls. So with that being stated, just stay tuned. We're not going nowhere. The show is just getting started.
gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hold it. You're not that pretty. Come on, man. I shook up the world.
I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's what I said, Larry, on the Bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hold it. You're not that pretty. Come on, man. I shook up the world.
I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's what I said, Larry, on the Bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get
Ladies and gentlemen, Let's get ready to rumble!
Hold it, you're not that pretty. I'm like, man. I took up the wall. I took up the wall. I took up the wall.
I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's what I said, Larry, on the Bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hold it, you're not that pretty. I'm like, man. I took up the wall. I took up the wall. I took up the wall.
I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's what I said, Larry, on the Bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get
Ladies and gentlemen, let's
Hold it, you're not that crazy. Oh my God, man! I took up the wall! I took up the wall! I took up the wall!
I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's what I said, Larry, on the Bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.
How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Pieces and blessings upon all my keys and all my sisters out there. Welcome to Split Decision. Excuse me, Boxing Hood episode 1. You already know the formula, so I'm already stuck with Split Decision. But today I'm with my own broski, my own AKHi.
Yes, sir.
Let them know who you is.
Just like you said, my name is Shahab. I've been a boxing fan for a while. More basketball than anything, but I also love boxing, love learn more about the sport.
Yeah, well, today, hey, I'm about to make him a hardcore boxing fans. I know he like basketball and all, but from now on, he about to be a hardcore boxing fans. As everybody that's tuning in, I want to give a shout out to somebody that threw a super chat, which is Newick Juice. He said, just supporting the grind, man. I appreciate it.
Newick Juice.
Newick Juice. That's the people that keep me on my feet. So, like I said, I appreciate all the love and support. This is a new show that me and my own AKHi going to have every Wednesday. At least we're going to try to. So if you have an exam in between, I might throw my another AKHi of mine. You know, I got plenty. But this is pretty much my twin. They call him my twin. But either way, he loves basketball. His name is Shahab. It stands for Shooting Star. He's also going to have his own channel, which I'm going to leave in the comment section below. That's something y'all want to look forward to in the future. If you love the sport of basketball, he obviously an expert at that. Me, not so. Boxing is my field. This is the Boxing Hood. AKHi stand for my brother. I appreciate every single AKHi of mine. So with that being stated, let's cook today. What's going on? So just a little side note, I will pick up the calls in 30 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and get, knock out a couple topics out of the way. Then I'm going to pick up the calls later on. So with that being said, shout out to RJ, OG Swag, Kenny Linder, and everybody in the chat. So let's go ahead and dive into the business.
Yeah, so one of the biggest fights obviously happened in the big event, Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. The fight with their records, be them coming out of retirement, the fight is going to count on their records. What's your thought on that?
Well, the whole purpose of an exhibition bout is for it not to count on your record. Like Mayweather, he didn't start exhibition bouts, but he made it popular again. He kind of opened new doors for fighters to make a lot of money. He even talked about it. So for him, for them to kind of count it on their record, that tells me there's a lot of money on the line. That tells me they saw the numbers that they were doing, and they were like, man, this right here might well make it a real fight because it's about to do bigger than pretty much every single fight this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to outdo Wilder versus Fury because a lot of people, 10 million people streamed that fight.
Well, it depends
10 million people streamed it. But depends if they buy the fight.
Yeah.
Now, because of his Mike Tyson, they might actually show him love. But this is super chat. Let me go ahead and read the super chat. Debois 206, just showing love to my brother and the movement. Hey, I appreciate it for real, for real.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you already know AKHi TV is the wave. This is new media. We are the new wave. So if you don't want to be, if you don't want to get smashed by the wave, then join the wave. So with that being said, I obviously had to give my man a shout out real quick, but you know, like that's an interesting take because now they making it.
If you were in Roy Jones or Mike Tyson position and knowing the fight, would you want that fight to be on your record, whether you're not knowing whether you're gonna win or lose?
Yeah, that's a good question. Now, I'll be honest with you. If I was Floyd Mayweather, then I would mind because there's a dangerous to it. You know what I mean? I haven't lost that many times. But Mike Tyson and Roy Jones, they both lost so many times to fighters they weren't supposed to lose to. However, they lost to those guys because they pretty much were a shell of themselves. Like Mike Tyson, for example, he let the outside life distract him from his goal. He went to prison, got out. He was pretty much distracted by fame. And that's what pretty much got to him. That's why I always preach, man. These fighters like Gervonta, I hope they don't fall in love with the fame and forget about the tunnel vision. A fighter has to live the fighter lifestyle. So Mike Tyson was the perfect example of that. On the other hand, Roy Jones was just like, you're talking about a fighter that arguably is the greatest of all time. He moved up from 154 to heavyweight. That's unheard of. And cleaned out every division other than cruiserweight because nobody cared about cruiserweight. My point was when Roy Jones made it to heavyweight, there was a Mike Tyson fight on the table. He was supposed to fight Mike Tyson. There was $40 million on the table. Pay-per-view split as well. But according to Roy, he said Mike Tyson team didn't want it at the time. They wanted to wait. That's according to Roy. Now, according to Andre Ward, the money was on the table, but Roy was like, you know what? I'm going to wait till later on. And the money's going to be even more, right? Then he moved down in weight. So he gained 25 pounds or 35 pounds of muscle, right? He gained it, and then he lost it in like 6 month span. You don't do that in the sport of boxing. Man, it's hard to gain 5 and lose 5 pounds. And this man gaining 30 and losing 30. So he was pretty much no longer the same because he was already older. So he was already slowing down. And then he fought Taylor, a guy, like he won. He beat Taylor the first time they fought. But see, Taylor was a guy he was sparring every day. Roy Jones was pretty much whipping Taylor every day in the gym when he was at his best. So Taylor got to see Roy Jones' hand speed at his best, power at his best. So he was used to Roy Jones' style. And then when he fought him, he was already comfortable, and it was no longer the same Roy. Yeah. And it's already a Roy that pretty much beat himself.
And all the weight changes take a toll on you.
Yeah, so the point, like, so if I am Roy and Tyson, I wouldn't care if it goes on my record or not because, man, I need to have a damn Mike Tyson on my record. Exactly. I need to have a Roy Jones on my record. Yeah. Because, so if you already have like 5 losses, 6 losses, it don't matter, really.
Do you think that will change the rank in history?
No, man, they know what time it is. Both of them 53 years old. Yeah. They old enough to be these fighters' grandpas that's fighting today. So they know that this fight is pretty much, it's just like making money, man, because they know they fighters that deserve that type of bread because you got Mayweather coming into the game making $300, $400 a fight.
He changed the game.
Come on now. Like, these fighters need to make money too. Mr. Lomachenko? Is that how you say it? I don't want to mispronounce that.
What's the name?
Right.
Oh, Mechanical, I think.
Oh, Mechanical. Mr. Mechanical.
We ain't trying to get nobody name.
He's just throwing a super chat. He's just showing love, man, off generosity. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that support me in the comment section. TJ Sport Nation, real life topics. That's what we talk about too, man. Hey, real recognize real, fam. Much love to you, brother. Love the channel. Love you right back, TJ. Sport Nation, real life topics. So, with that being said, man, like I said, you know, like I said, an exhibition bout's supposed to be, hey, I'm gonna take it easy on you. You're gonna take it easy on me. You know what I mean? But then Floyd Mayweather, for example, he kept talking about it's just an exhibition bout. He came back for this, you know, I don't know, Asian fighter overseas, and he knocked him on the first round. So now they talking about Mike Tyson versus Roy is not gonna be like they're not gonna go toe to toe, but
it's gonna happen. They're both competitors.
Yeah, and you got to keep in mind, you know, like it's gonna be a real fight because once you get hit, it kind of it will bother you where you're gonna go off. You know what I mean? Like Mike Tyson, he went off during promo.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask you about that. The promo.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on it? And you think both knowing Roy Jones, he's he's good at trash talking, one of the best. And Mike Tyson, his attitude when it comes to boxing,
his energy, he brings to the table.
Do you think that them in the past is gonna, we're gonna see that again in this fight in the press conferences? They're gonna have it.
A poor version. A poor version of that. Poor version. But I hope Roy don't do that to Mike, because you don't want to bring the crazy out of Mike. You know what I mean? You don't want to bring the monster out of Mike. Like, leave him at where he's at. See,
and do you think that both of them, knowing the money that's on the line, they would agree to, like, hey, I'm gonna say this? You know how boxing is.
Nah, I think they're just gonna be themselves. As far as the lead up, I don't know. As far as the fight itself, I don't know if they were like, because from the article I read, I don't know if they're gonna pretty much be like, hey man, take it easy on me, I'll take it easy on you. We're gonna try to go 8 rounds without hurting each other.
Right.
We're gonna make it seem like a fight. This is like a WWE type of match. That could be possible. Knowing them, I don't think so. But as far as the trash talk, I know they're gonna go all out. Now, we're seeing Mike Tyson go off on the promo, man, if he can't even control himself in the promo, what makes you think he gonna control himself in fight night? You know what I mean? Like, fight night, there is no holding you back when you get hit. I spar, I get hit, man, I have to control myself, even though I'm pretty much kind of working with my sparring partners, right? So in a real fight where the whole world is watching, and this is gonna affect your next payday because the winner will continue on fighting in an exhibition bout. So Mike Tyson, if he knocks out Roy Jones in the first round, for example, he will continue and he will fight a guy like, for example, Holyfield, who's already, as soon as he saw Mike Tyson come out of retirement, he made his own promo. I know he didn't have nothing lined up, but he was like, yeah, I'm coming back. It was like, hold on. Why you just do what Mike Tyson did? But obviously he was trying to set the tone like, hey, this is about to be a trilogy fight. So the winner is going to be in a nice position to make another huge payday. So, like I said, I'm looking forward for the fight, but I know this is going to be a real fight. So my man, D-Boy 206 just found the channel. Oh, that's my man. Yeah, just found the channel today, and I'm showing love, and you showing love again. I appreciate it, my man.
All right, so next topic. Lomachenko,
Hold on. Hey, I don't know if y'all can see the bell. Oh, okay. Well, next time, make sure y'all see the bell.
I got you.
Round 2.
All right. So Lomachenko, everybody knows how you feel about him. He's willing to take a pay cut to fight Lopez. You think that fight gonna happen?
Well, about time, because you have Lopez, who came out recently, like a week ago, saying that Top Rank is not trying to make the fight. ESPN is not trying to make the fight because they're not showing effort. It's little to no effort that they really want to make the fight. So he said, I'm willing to fight Lomachenko for a less amount of money. Now, Lomachenko is saying the same thing. He's saying that he's willing to take a pay cut. Now, I'm not sure what he's willing to take, but the fact that he said that, he's letting the public know, don't let the politics of boxing fool you. It's not my fault. It's ESPN and Top Rank fault. It's pretty much the network's fault, which is mind-boggling to me because you got the PBC on one side. I just interviewed David Morrell. He's a prospect on the come-up. 2-0, now he 3-0.
Yeah.
He fought on PBC. They did 1.3 million on PBC fighters that's on the come-up. They're not really known fighters like that. So you could imagine when Charlo come back, when Jamar, Javante, Errol Spence, Ugas, Lara, and all these fighters that PBC have, they already got the lineup. So it looked bad when PBC, you know, before the pandemic and after the pandemic, always doing tremendous numbers, always making tremendous fights, and nobody want to give them credit. On the other hand, ESPN can't even make the fight they've been talking about for the past year. Yeah. Like, this is the fight they've been promoting, and Lopez been calling out Lomachenko for like 2 years. And they still haven't made the fight yet, even though they two champions in the same division. I remember the time when Mikey Garcia was calling out Errol Spence, and he was 2 divisions below Errol Spence. What did PBC do? Make the fight happen right away. Al Heyman told him, "You sure you want this?" You know, Mikey said, "Yeah." I don't know what he was thinking, but he said, "Yeah, I want it." He told him, "You know, I advise against it, but if you want it, I'll make it happen." And he made it happen right away. He gave him the right amount of money, and he gave Errol Spence the right amount of money. You cannot tell me that there is no money on the table because of the gate. Gate is not everything. This is a pay-per-view fight. A pay-per-view fight means that the network is not paying for the fight. A pay-per-view fight means the fight is going to pay for the fight because they're gonna charge people $50, $60, $80. Ain't no telling.
They're trying to maximize their money.
So that's what I'm saying. So they already not paying for the fight because it's pay-per-view. So they don't have much to lose, in my humble opinion. So for them to kind of like, you know, like I said, they put Lomachenko in a place where he's willing to take a pay cut. I'm not sure how much of a pay cut, but because he's still getting paid around the money he's making. He's going to make around the same amount of money he's going to make. And plus, like I said, the pay-per-view revenue after the fight, if the fight does do tremendous numbers because there's no other sports on TV due to the pandemic, it might make up for the gate. So you complaining about the gate, but for example, the UFC just had a huge mega fight between Masvidal and Usman. They made the fight in 1 week notice. Keep in mind, this is one of the biggest UFC fights of all time. Yeah. Right. So the fight did 1.3 million on pay-per-view. They made it happen in 1 week notice. That's equivalence of Vasyl Lomachenko versus Gervonta Tank Davis taking place in 1 week notice. That will never happen. I know, obviously, they on two different networks.
Nine boxing anyway.
Yeah. Obviously, you know, they on two different networks, Gervonta and Lomachenko, but that's equivalence of Usman and Masvidal as far as how big the fight is, right? So for UFC to make a fight like that in 1 week notice, and boxing, for example, they have a Lomachenko versus Lopez, a fight supposed to take place a year ago, and the fight ain't taking place to this day, man. Come on. Like I said, it's just a bad look on ESPN behalf and Bob Arum and Top Rank. Yeah. They letting PBC dominate the game while they chillaxing, not making the best business decisions for their brand. So
topic 3, yeah.
So on to the round
3. Another mega fight happening. It's controversial. Actually, is Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. He said Tyson Fury won't wait till February to face Deontay. According to Warren, the Fury Wilder fight must happen in December. So do you think the fight should happen in December? You think he should?
Nah, that's confusing, right? Because they keep flip-flopping. They say the fight gonna take place. First, they pushed it to October from June or July. Then they pushed it to December, and then now they want to push it to February 22. So they keep pushing the fight back and back and back. But what's the point? Just because of the gate? We keep talking about this gate, but forget the gate. Man, we got the glove gate that was bigger than the money gate itself for the rematch. Who care about the gate? When you talking about a fight, there's so much controversy behind it. We could care less about a gate. And what guarantees that there's going to be a money gate for the third fight in February 2021? Like, what guarantees?
How long this gonna last? Yeah,
there's a Rona 2.0 that's supposed to hit the surface. 2. You know, phase 2, right? Yeah. So how we know that this issue is going to be dealt with? How we know? Like, so might well make the best out of it. Obviously, what they're trying to do is basically get Wilder out of the picture. See, they know what they're doing. Bob Arum and Frank Warren, they know Tyson Fury cheated. And they know Deontay Wilder could ruin all these plans.
So you think they're trying to push the fight back a little bit to make this thing go longer and for the sport of boxing?
It's actually more deeper than that. What they planning to do is push the fight backward. They want to push the fight backward, push the fight backward. Now, on the contract, it says that Wilder is guaranteed the trilogy fight. It will happen according to the contract. But by December 2020.
Oh,
so if the fight doesn't happen by December 2020 and they do not agree to a date later on contract, on paper,
Tyson Fury can say
then Tyson Fury could be like, I'm walking out after December. So what they trying to do, they trying to stall it. So eventually Tyson Fury just could walk out of the fight, right?
Yeah.
Now, like I said, the issue with that is Deontay Wilder obviously got the smartest manager in the game, which is Al Heyman. He's not going to let that slide. He's not going to let that happen. On the other hand, they kind of want to use the gate excuse. But when they first fought, they sold 350,000 on pay-per-view, right? Because people didn't believe in Tyson Fury. They thought he was a drug addict. They thought that he had no chance in the world.
You're talking about the first fight or the second fight?
Yeah, this first fight. The second fight, that's in the United States. The pay-per-view did 800, around 800,000. Now, obviously, in the UK, they doing around $1 million or 700,000 every time on pay-per-view, but it's cheaper. It's like $20 a pay-per-view. Here is like, or 20 their currency, pounds. But over here, it was $80, so it's more money. It costs more. But either way, the rematch did way more than the first fight. They did 800. And now with the glove accusation and the glove gate, man, they're going to do at least $1 million plus. So why you keep worrying about a gate? Like I said, when the glove gate became bigger than the gate itself and bigger than the fight itself, people know about Tyson Fury cheating more so than about the fight. They didn't even watch the fight. Like, I know people that didn't even watch the fight, but they'd be like, oh, yeah, you talking about that dude that cheated against the black dude? That's what they say. Like, people, casual boxing fans, and you know this. Like, we talk all the time, and people that don't even know the sport of boxing, they know Tyson Fury cheating against the fighter on the coincidental list, and it ain't a coincidence.
Especially when people didn't fight or watch the fight, and then they heard that, Deontay Wilder lost. They in shock, because I was in shock. I was watching the fight, and I looked at it, I couldn't believe it. So I was, I know the people are watching to go online, they trying to figure it out. So, it's just.
And now the WBC, but peep this, though. So the WBC came on the table and said, we will grant Tyson Fury they call that an interim fight. Basically, he could fight a volunteer fight, and he don't have to fight his mandatory. So his mandatory, Dillian White, the WBC a week ago, they came out and said that the winner of Wilder versus Fury must fight Dillian White, the mandatory. So you will think if they want to grant Tyson Fury a fight in between to stay active before a Wilder trilogy fight, they're going to tell him, hey, fight White. So when you fight Deontay Wilder, you fight Anthony Joshua right away if you are successful. But now they want to flip the script, and they want to say Tyson Fury could fight whoever he wants to fight. He could fight a tuna fight, and you know what I mean?
So with that in mind, on the subject, why do you think that he should why didn't he fight Mike Tyson?
Hey, that's a good fight. Tyson.
Mike Tyson would want it.
So if you're talking about you want a tuna fight because it's been so long, you have a layoff for so long. Now picture this: Tyson Fury, supposedly, Tyson Fury, he the winner.
Yeah,
he got all the power in the world. He got all the confidence in the world. Why do you need a tuna fight? If anything, Deontay Wilder need a tuna fight. If it should be Deontay Wilder that comes out and say, hey, I got to see myself after this dent that I received, after this beatdown, after this, Tyson Fury cheated. Let me see if I'm myself again before the trilogy fight. It should be Deontay Wilder that talking like that, not Tyson Fury talking about, I need a tune-up. And then when Mike Tyson called him literally and said, hey, I heard you want to fight me. You said, hell yeah, you would love a fight. Tyson versus Tyson. I mean, the title is so epic. It's just an eye opener. Like, who the hell is Tyson versus Tyson? If you don't know this Fury, you're gonna be like, what the hell? His name is Tyson, and it will open your eyes. Oh, he the WBC champion of the world, the lineal champion of the world. It's an eye opener. It's a great marketing. He just went to the WWE. Yeah, he's trying to go to the UFC. So why not take an exhibition bout, an 8-rounder? It's not a 3-rounder, it's an 8-rounder with Mike Tyson, your idol. Now picture this. Now, if you saying that you need a tune-up fight, why not fight Mike Tyson? He offered you a fight where he requested 100 to 500 million. That's why Tyson Fury turned down the fight. All his fans want to talk about, oh, he don't want to beat up his idol. That's not what Tyson Fury said.
I think it's because that's what I was going to ask. You think it's because of the pressure? Like, oh man, I got to perform at a high level against somebody who was retired for a while. You think there's pressure on Mike Tyson, or is it just because?
No, you mean Tyson Fury? On Tyson Fury.
On Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Because he has to perform. Even let's say he goes competitive.
I think it's just there's no cojones, man. This man don't got no cojones.
Because I'm thinking like with somebody who's out of the boxing for a long time, and then you got some. If it's competitive, it's almost like the Mayweather McGregor thing. If it's competitive at all, they're gonna
criticize him.
What would have happened back in the day?
It
was Mike Tyson in his prime.
Right.
Do you think that's the reason why he wouldn't want to fight?
Well, Tyson Fury said it. He said, "What if this man knocked me out? What if this man?"
Oh, he mentioned that.
Yeah, he mentioned.
Oh,
his fans want to make up excuses that Tyson Fury ain't even make it. I mean, picture this. Last time Mike Tyson fought, he said, "I broke my back. It's spinal." That's what Mike Tyson said. He was so old, like he's not himself anymore, that he lost to a guy. Man, Mike Tyson is in his prime will chew this guy out and spit him out. Like, and Mike Tyson talking about, "I broke my back." That's the version of Mike Tyson we talking about. And now he's 53 years old.
But I'm just so we can't keep it biased for Tyson Fury fans.
You know, we always object.
So if being on Tyson Fury's side for a second, you think, oh, if I fight Mike Tyson, it would be like, you know, the fans might say, oh, you fought Mike Tyson or retired Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I mean, but it's an exhibition bout. It's supposed to be like a promo. It's supposed to be like, you know, if you that good, right? Yeah. Why not take it easy on Mike Tyson? You're supposed to take it easy on Mike Tyson. Why not dance around for 8 rounds? Just jab him. I mean, I got a sparring out there. Like, I mean, obviously, I ain't no damn Mike Tyson or nothing, but I was sparring, you know, somebody, and I took it easy on him. Like, I was going like 10% mode. If you're a champion of the world, you in your prime, you cannot go with a 53-year-old man and toy with him for 8 rounds and go easy on him, just control him with a jab.
I can see why he would, because of that, why he wouldn't take it. Because he's like, okay, he's 53 years old. I'm gonna fight him. I'm gonna beat him. Then people are gonna look at him. It's like,
but you don't have to.
It's like a lose-lose situation for him.
It's a win-win situation because
for Tyson Fury,
because you could beat him without hurting him and get money and recognition. So you're gonna gain fame.
Yeah,
you're gonna gain money.
That's true.
And you're gonna gain
the money part.
And you're gonna gain not just fame and money. You're also gonna gain a lot of respect from people because it's such an epic night, Tyson versus Tyson, and you didn't hurt him. You're the champion of the world. They know you toying with him. Yeah. They know you playing around, but you didn't.
You can finesse
right?
it that way too.
See, you got to think about it. Tyson Fury, what he's known for is his boxing ability. What he's known for is he's 6'9" as a heavyweight. Mike Tyson is like 5'9". There's a whole feet in between them, like height-wise.
That's crazy.
And you talking about he bigger than Mike Tyson, like 50 pounds bigger than Mike Tyson. And not just that, he's in his prime and he got defense for days. Like his defense is what makes Tyson Fury. It's not his power. They gave him power with the glove gate.
That's what gave Deontay Wilder a hard time.
A hard time because he got shocked by his power. He's like, what this dude? He's supposed to be pillow fisted. I mean, his sparring partner told me, Nicholas Asbury, he told me, man, Tyson Fury can't hurt a fly.
Yeah.
If there's a fly and he hit a fly, he won't hurt a fly.
No, I was saying about the defense in the first fight.
No, but defense wise, Tyson Fury does have defense. So if you that good, why are you worrying about a 53-year-old man knocking you out? Why can't you just go in the ring and dance?
Yeah.
And just, dance for 2 rounds? Because see, the thing about Mike Tyson, he's only dangerous for 2 rounds. So after 2 rounds, he's no longer dangerous. So you could pretty much drag the fight after 2 rounds, after 3 rounds. Once Mike Tyson let all the steam out of his punches, he's 53 years old. He's not going to be able to go past 2 rounds and have a lot of steam on his punches. So after 2 rounds, you got 6 rounds more to go. Just play with him, go to the body, hit him a couple nice body shots. Man, even Mike Tyson had an exhibition bout where he was sparring with an amateur or something like that, or an upcoming fighter, and he knocked him out, or knocked him down
Yeah.
and picked him up like that ass. Like he hit him and he like, I don't know how many people saw it, but Mike Tyson held him up so he won't go down, and he took it easy on him to the end of the exhibition bout. So my point is he could have did that with him, but that lets you know his confidence is fake. His confidence is not real, because you talking about you want a tuna fight, a WBC offering you a tuna fight, and you not willing to have a tuna fight with a Mike Tyson, but you want 500 million, you want 100 million. Man, last time I checked, your middle name is not Money. You're not Money May. That's the last time I checked. You're not Money Mayweather. For you to request that type of money, if you never made 100 million, how can you request 100 million for basically? I won't call it not a real fight, but it's an exhibition fight. You know what I mean?
Right.
So at the end of the day, or at least tonight, I feel like he just knew that, hey, listen, man, if I go in the ring and this dude crack me and drop me and make me look bad, I'm gonna be pretty much exposed, especially after all this Glovegate talk. Man, can you picture Mike Tyson knocking him out?
That's the
like
thing. That's what
it would be so hilarious, because it's like
that's what it's going to be another conversation on history. You know, we always have the debates in terms of who's the greatest. You got Mike, got Muhammad Ali in different weight classes with Sugar Ray and all them guys.
Well, you know,
if Mike Tyson, right? If Mike Tyson, people talk about Floyd. Mike Tyson being, you know, makes it at least if he makes it competitive,
interesting.
If he makes it interesting, people are gonna look back and be like, "Man, how great were boxers back in the day?"
Yeah. I mean, that's what I wanted to see. That's what we wanted to see. And I think back in the day, they would definitely. I mean, fighters. I will tell you this: fighters improve with time. Fighters are like pretty much one. They improve with time.
Pretty
the
much
reason
with
why,
every sport.
the reason why you got to understand, there's more footage to study. There's better trainers. There's better training methods. So fighters do get better with time. However, there's this talent that was just
on another level.
It's just 100 years ahead of their time. For example, Ali was that guy. Ali was 100 years ahead of his time. He really didn't have a trainer. He was really his own trainer. Yeah. He would float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. He really didn't have a style. His style was his rhythm, his motion. Not afraid to let punches fly. He really wasn't really that technical, but he was just so gifted. He made his own style. He really could have been trained. He was his own trainer. His trainer was basically he had the complexion for the connection. That's how Muhammad Ali looked at the equation. That's what he told Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah. But the whole thing about it is that he was 100 years ahead of his time. I think Muhammad Ali, Roy Jones, and Floyd Mayweather was three of the most gifted fighters of all time, especially Muhammad Ali and Roy. And even Roy talked about how Muhammad Ali could just control you. He sparred Muhammad Ali when he was older, and Muhammad Ali just controlled him. And I know what he's talking about. It's just like, you know, he make you moving when he wants to move.
Yeah.
Then obviously you got Floyd Mayweather. I mean, technique-wise, the man is a genius. Like, he never makes a mistake. You know, so seeing that, just wondering how the sport is gonna go on and grow. I could see Shakur. I see a lot of greatness in Shakur. Like, he already kind of doing things that fighters never did in the past. He's getting hit less than any fighter did in the past, like 13% and all. Like, you know, kind of beating Floyd Mayweather record at an early age. But we shall see, can he do it at the highest level? But my point is, Floyd Mayweather showed us that, hey, man, it don't get better than this technique-wise. Mike Tyson showed us that you're looking for a pressure fighter, you're looking for a Mexican-style fighter. Nobody really did it better than Mike Tyson, coming forward with technique and power and speed.
Right.
Muhammad Ali, he showed us ain't nobody doing it better. Being pretty, fighting pretty, dancing pretty. I ain't moving, I'm dancing. And he dancing, he's jabbing you, and he bothering you and all of that. So obviously these fighters that had the whole package, the only difference between these fighters that I named is that some of them had the execution where they stayed focused and didn't let the outside life, you know, beat them. Muhammad Ali, the outside life beat him because
it was bigger than boxing.
They set him up. For example, with the Vietnam War, they kicked him out of boxing in his prime. Exactly. So, and they got him back in there with monsters, and he still beat the monsters.
Crazy.
Frazier and George Foreman.
3 years and a half out of his prime.
But Mike Tyson didn't have that luxury of, he actually, you know, he didn't fight in his best. He went to jail. But either way, the outside life distracted him. It wasn't politics. It was actually him. You know, that person in the mirror.
Issues and
I mean, you could call it that, but it was that person in the mirror. Is growing up, is getting money, not used to fame. And it's things you have to deal with. You got to have a mentor on your side. He didn't have the luxury of having a mentor. Floyd Mayweather, took notes of all the greats and realized, man, this is the mistake they're making. As Pretty Boy, he was offensive. He was an offensive machine. As Money May, he realized I'm going to be defensively minded because for longevity, I got to get hit less. And also, I have to live the fighter lifestyle because you could look at Mike Tyson, a guy that let the guy in the mirror beat him. So that's why I always say, George, you know, when it comes to tanking them, hopefully they get it right. But
so round 4 coming up.
Well, let me add this to the equation because just on a high note, a lot of people are not informed on this, but Tyson Fury, like I said, Frank came out and Bob Arum came out. Bob stated that the fight should happen in 2021. Frank said if it ain't happened in 2020, then there's no fight with Wilder. Fury walking out. And now the WBC came out saying that Fury wants to tune up and Fury should fight a tune-up fight. It don't have to be White because he have a voluntary defense all of a sudden. So he ducked White before fighting Wilder for the diamond belt. They still gave it to him. Now White is pressuring the WBC, actually wanting to sue them even, and they still playing dumb, talking about you know, Fury could have tune-up a 10-rounder. What sense does that make? Fight Mike Tyson then. Why you didn't fight Mike? Why you have to have a 10-rounder against a nobody and not fight White? And then if Fury is a winner in the Trilogy fight, then he don't defend his title as he never had. Fury haven't had one title defense yet. And they're going to give him the WBC French fries title. You know why? Because he got the complexion for the protection. And that's the issue in the sport of boxing. We not dumb at the end of the day. We could see what's happening. So they want to make it seem like, oh, man, the reason we gave Fury the French fries title so he could unify with AJ. He had all these opportunities to fight White, but he chooses not to. And now y'all want to give him a voluntary defense, not against White, but against a bum for a 10-rounder to stay active. Last time I checked, it wasn't Fury who lost the fight. It was Wilder. But that lets you know they shook of Wilder because they realized, man, that glove gate situation, man, what if Wilder knocks him out and ruins all the plan? Because, see, they're not going to give Wilder justice. His right hand is his justice. Yeah. So with that being stated, hopefully Wilder and his team get things in order. But at the end of the day, at least tonight, you got to keep in mind that whatever they plan to do, they must be very calculated because Wilder could sue them. The only thing that's holding Wilder back from suing them is that he wants his revenge. Tupac always says the sweetest thing next to getting mushy is the revenge. So Wilder looking at it, I'm going to get my revenge. I'm going to expose this I'm going to expose this, Fury that don't have the cojones to fight on an even playing field. And I'm going to also expose the corruption in boxing. But if they try to lowball him and kick him out of the picture in order to let the AJ versus Fury fight take place, then of course he's going to have to let lawyers do the work if he can't do the work with his own hands. So we could go ahead and dive into the next round. Shout out to OG Swag, AKHi, Mr. Mechanical, and everybody in the chat.
All right, one of your favorite fighters, probably your favorite fighter, Errol Spence. He's, staying in shape, coming back to shape, trying to get back to where he was. He's in tremendous shape. ESPN still have writers. They have Danny beating him. What do you think about that?
I mean, ESPN, I don't know. I think they're basing things on Errol Spence coming off a car crash, right? But I think he's going to be better than ever. I really was wearing
because somebody, it's true, you can come back from certain situations like this, but there's been history where things like this can affect your game.
Right. I mean, there's been fighters in history. There's been fighters in history that actually, like this guy, he survived in a miracle way. Let's not forget. Errol Spence flew out of the car. He got ejected out of the vehicle and dived head first. I mean, I dive into the pool and I go in head first. Sometimes the water splash my face and that shit hurt.
And
excuse my language.
When you see the car, and like if you don't know nothing about the story, you see the car, you're like, this dude must have been over.
Right. And he got ejected out of the vehicle. I mean, I seen the footage. The car was flipping and stuff, and he got ejected out of the vehicle, busted his head on concrete, and for him to survive that is, he got to be blessed. But it also let me know this man is chosen. His nickname is the Truth.
Yeah.
So he's here for a reason, not a short season. So I know Allah has better plans for him than coming back to the sport and just lose.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at things when it comes to life, people are here for a purpose, and Errol Spence has a purpose. It's up to him to realize what his purpose is. And he realized that, hey, I'm going to take advantage of my gift, and I'm not going to let the outside life distract me, because like I said, we were talking about Mike Tyson earlier, how he lost that person in the mirror. You could have went down as one of the best, but Errol was falling in that wrong track a little bit, hanging out with the wrong crowd, started doing the wrong things. And there's nothing wrong with that, because you know why? Once you get fame, you're talking about a guy that got it out of the mud. So he never had this type of luxury. And he had time, money, and fame on his hand is all, it's going to happen.
With that in mind, do you think, knowing how hard, he works hard and his competitiveness and his confidence, you think this incident, probably weakens his confidence in a way? How am I going to be?
Yeah, the question mark next to my chin. Yeah. I think he will find that out.
It's going to make him want to work harder, but at the same time, it's mentally, it's probably draining.
Yeah, well, at one point, Errol did say, man, this shit hurt. I don't know if I could ever box again. That's what he said.
After the
car accident. So it's good to see him in a mental state where he's saying that he's 100%, better. But he haven't sparred yet when he made them comments. You will never know till you actually spar and get hit. So
you won't really know until you get in the ring, actually.
Yeah, get in the ring, because there's no headgear and it's smaller gloves. So like you said, once he get in the ring, he's surely going to find that out. But I think Errol Spence, it will make him better, because I must emphasize on this point. When I say he was falling to the wrong path, I really mean it. The man was gaining a lot of weight in between fights, like 40, 50 pounds, which is not good for a fighter that's losing that much weight. You can't even take a body shot. You can't even take a headshot. So I don't even know how he did it. Performing the way he did is impressive. On top of that, Errol Spence didn't just come back to the game and beat the best while dealing with outside life and distractions and weight loss and all that. Now you got to keep in mind, man, focus Errol. What is he going to look like? I know we're talking about the car accident, which is the big question mark.
Yeah.
But we also got to talk about the positive, which is Errol Spence is training harder than ever. He's keeping his weight down. Errol Spence is also, he's mentally sharper, because he's realizing, hey, I got a vision. I got to stay on the tunnel vision. I'm not going to let the outside life distract me. So because of that, I think he will have a better performance than people expected.
With Danny Garcia, I think his last fight, who was it against?
The
one he
Red
lost
Catch.
The
Sean Porter. He already had a fight after Red Catch. Red Catch.
Errol Spence fought Sean Porter. That fight was closer than what people thought. Now Sean Porter beat Danny Garcia, but that fight was also close. How do you think? What do you think? How's it going to be?
Yeah, well,
being Errol Spence, I'm talking you as Errol Spence. Going into
from his
fight.
perspective, like his take, he's like, man, you know what? This dude can't beat me on my worst day. You know what I mean? I just got to be me, and I just got to fight my fight. And I think the way he's thinking about it, one of his best friends is Lamont Pearson. The way he fought Danny Garcia, he gave the blueprint of how to beat Danny Garcia. Boxed early, the way he did with Mikey, then turn it up later and go to the body, which Errol Spence go to the body first, then head second. You got to keep in mind, a fighter like Errol Spence and a fighter like Danny Garcia, Danny likes to counterpunch. He has tremendous timing, tremendous chin, good power. Errol Spence got great power, speed, fundamentally sound. He could box. He could do it all. Now, the thing about Errol Spence that I think will give him the edge, because Errol could fight Danny. He could touch him up, but he also, the way he vary his offense, he's so hard to read. He will throw a jab. Yeah. That's 2 jabs, triple jab, quadruple jab, 5 jabs. And then he will go to the body. He will vary his offense. He will throw an uppercut. He will throw a hook. That type of variation, throwing jabs first, is hard to counter that.
So you think he's going to go distance?
I think it will go to distance, but Errol has a high chance of knocking out.
But he might not want to, probably because of the first fight ever since that accident. Probably would just,
Yeah, he might want to cruise it. He might not cruise it. Errol will make a huge mistake if he chooses to take risks at this point. It will make
not
a huge,
knowing how he
not
is.
knowing how he is. You got to realize, hey, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna get the W. That's my main objective. After that, if I'm seeing Danny Garcia hurt, then I'm gonna turn it up on him. But like I said, I'm not worried about none of that. I think Errol Spence is. I just love the fact that he's focused. I love the fact that he's determined. And like I said, I just refuse to believe that Allah saved him from a car accident in a miracle way, and just throw him in there with a lion in the lion's dens and just get him, just have him lose.
So you think ESPN makes
ESPN is highly biased. I think ESPN. I don't know who like these writers that made these comments, but see,
you don't think they have a point?
I mean, the car accident is a huge question mark. Yeah. I do give them that. That's the only break they have. But I mean, I don't know. Like Teddy Atlas, for example, he's highly critical of Errol. Like he says Lomachenko is pound for pound #1, right?
Yeah.
And then he says Errol Spence is a top 10 pound for pound fighter, or top 5, matter of fact. He gave Errol Spence credit from day one, but he had a Cuban flag next to his name. I think they mistaked Errol Spence with Regan Diaz. They really wanted to put Regan Diaz at the time because he was about to fight Lomachenko, moving up like 2-3 weight divisions. So they want to give Lomachenko his props. Now, the only issue, for example, Teddy works for ESPN, or he used to at least, and I think he is. He still works with ESPN, just he's not part of the podcast because sometimes he be going too crazy. So Teddy, man, this man said Lomachenko pound for pound #1. Lomachenko fought Luke Campbell. You got to keep in mind, Luke Campbell is not even a top 5 at his own division. He's nowhere near one of the best in the sport of boxing. No disrespect to Luke Campbell. Lomachenko struggles in the fight. He comes out after the fight and says, Luke Campbell hurt me more than once. Luke Campbell, he said he has so much to say about Luke Campbell that it was an eye-opener. Like, man, this man struggled against Luke Campbell. He said that was my toughest fight till this day. You know what I mean? So he made all those type of comments. So you will kind of raise the question, like, damn, what Teddy Atlas think about it? The way Teddy talked about it, he made it seem like Lomachenko walked right through him. You know what I mean? Yeah. When Lomachenko said that's my toughest fight yet, then when he talked about Errol Spence versus Sean Porter, one of the best fighters in the game. Sean Porter arguably got the best resume in the game today. People want to say Canelo Alvarez is pound for pound #1 because he got the best resume. So does that mean Sean Porter the best in the game because he got the best resume? Exactly. Because his resume better than Canelo Alvarez. We're talking about, man, this man, I'm going to tell you, name you fighters that he just beat, or he fought. Keith Thurman, Ugas, Errol Spence, Danny Garcia, Alexander. And like I said, the list just goes on and on. Kell Brook, and he performs in these fights. So what does Teddy Atlas say? He said that he even went as far as saying he thought it was a robbery. Like, what? Man, Errol beat him 8 rounds to 4 and dropped him. But it just lets you know.
Between who? Errol?
Sean Porter and Errol Spence. So you can see, like I said, Errol Spence, ESPN is very biased because PBC is their competitor. So they don't want to give the competitor their credit. Yeah. And also the car accident, I'll give it a break with that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They might have a point with that one. I don't blame them for thinking that. But moving on to the
next round.
6th round. I smiled when I saw this name because I know how you feel about him, Canelo Alvarez. Who you think he will fight next? Everybody knows how you feel about it.
I mean, I like Canelo. I mean, he's an exciting fighter. He's a good fighter. He got an exciting style. The only thing, he's killing his own brand with his own hand. He's not fighting the best. He just.
That's a touchy subject because you think, and a lot of people used to say this about Floyd Mayweather when Pacquiao fight and Floyd Mayweather fight didn't happen. Yeah. They try to. You think he's trying to build everything up for a moment, or you think he's just scared of the competition? Because there is no moment.
Think he wants There's more than one moment. See, that's the thing. There is more than one moment. So hold on. Just give me a break, guys. So back to the point. I'm sorry we had a little interruption, but back to the point you were talking about, Canelo. There is no moment because there's more than one moment. He have a Charlo on the line, a big mega fight, a fight with Andre. There's going to be a big fight. This big fights is not. See, Floyd and Pacquiao, those were two huge names, superstar names. Canelo does not have any superstar around his weight division. The only star or a superstar almost around or close to his division is Errol Spence. Yeah. And he fights at 147, and Canelo Alvarez just fought at 175.
That's what for him because.
So what is he waiting on?
Errol Spence was talking about this. I think I was watching it on the Breakfast Club. He was like that Floyd Mayweather ruined, because of wanting to keep that O. Canelo have won, but it was against Floyd Mayweather.
What Errol said, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. What Errol said, he said Floyd ruined the game because he stayed undefeated. Now they're expecting they're not. Now fans expecting fighters to stay undefeated because if you're not undefeated, you a bum. That's what Errol Spence thought. Yeah. Like for example, like a guy like Sean Porter, I believe he got 2 or 3 losses, but with his resume, it's like, man, this guy's a monster. Yeah. People still respect him. You will be respected if you fight names. Now, if you lose to nobodies, like for example, Tyson Fury, he nearly lost to Wallen. Nobody know Wallen. So that's a bad look. People be like, man, what the hell? You lost to Wallen? Who the heck is Wallen? Yeah. But if you lose to a fighter that you're supposed to lose to, then it's okay. Now, what's funny is, if a coincidence,
that's the thing, the rank is people you thinking about the best of the best, and Canelo probably wanting to be the best.
Well, that's not the case for Canelo because Canelo get guaranteed paydays either way. He got 11 fight deal with his own. He guaranteed $33 million a fight. Yeah. It don't matter if you lose or don't lose.
No, I'm not saying the money.
Yeah, but I'm saying the money for Canelo shouldn't be the issue.
I'm talking about the rank in terms of all time. Do you think he cares about that as much?
Who, Canelo?
Yeah, in terms of where he's going to be ranked.
Every fighter is supposed to care about your ranking. So you're supposed to fight who you're supposed to fight in order to be ranked there. See, in order to be the best, you have to fight the best.
Yeah.
See, you it's not to be the best, duck the best. That's how Canelo Alvarez is moving. Floyd Mayweather, for example, you brought up Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
And Pacquiao. Because I'm going to give Pacquiao his props too. Early on in his career, Floyd Mayweather, for 10 years, he dominated the game. He was the most feared. He had fighters running.
Pacquiao or Floyd?
Both. But Floyd Mayweather more so. Floyd Mayweather was just kicking ass. Nobody had no smoke for him. Sugar Shane Mosley avoided him. Oscar De La Hoya avoided him. They all moved up divisions to avoid him.
Yeah.
And Floyd was chasing these guys down. Pacquiao, on the other hand, he fought Barrera, Morales, Marquez, and so many legendary fighters on the come up. All great fighters in the first 10 years of his career that you'd be like, man, if you compare Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather resume to Canelo Alvarez, it's not even comparable, right? Now, their last 10 years, you're talking about money made, right? For example, he fought undefeated Ricky Hatton. He fought Sugar Shane Mosley. He fought Ortiz after his biggest win. He fought Guerrero after his biggest win. He fought Maidana twice. He had a close fight with Maidana. Guess what he did? He ran it right back. It ain't like Canelo when he lost to Lara and robbed him, but he didn't want to run it back, right? He fought Manny Pacquiao. He fought Canelo Alvarez himself and spanked him every single round when he was a grandpa, like 36, 37 years old, while Canelo was in his prime.
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather fought Canelo in his bullyweight division, while Floyd Mayweather was fighting in his 5th weight division. So my point is, when the heck is Canelo Alvarez going to fight the best? Right. If you're not going to do it now in your prime, you're never going to do it. Because if you're not going to fight the best in your prime, when the heck you're going to fight the best? So the issue with Canelo Alvarez, there's Charlo, there's Andrade, 2 fighters that he's been avoiding for 6 years. He haven't even negotiated with these fighters. See, Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, for example, they negotiated with each other. Negotiations failed due to a drug test.
Mm-hmm.
Floyd Mayweather offered Pacquiao 50-50 split, $50 million guarantee, all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pacquiao turned it down because of the blood test. He said he's scared of needles,
right?
But he had tattoos. So either you was on some or you was ducking Mayweather.
Right.
So you choose. For the Pacquiao fans, either he was on some or he was ducking Mayweather. So if he was ducking Mayweather, call it what it is, right?
Because the money was an issue at the beginning.
It was never an issue. It was never an issue. Money was never an issue.
Wasn't it because
no, that the first time the fight, The first time Floyd Mayweather offered Manny Pacquiao a fight in 2009, it was a 50-50 split.
That's the first.
In 2012, offer. Floyd Mayweather offered Pacquiao $40 million guaranteed or something like that. It's going to be wired to him in 24 hours. And then the pay-per-view upside, he's going to get it or something like that. But Pacquiao didn't even want to negotiate. And then he lost to Timothy Bradley, then got knocked out by Marquez. Then the last time they negotiated, obviously Floyd Mayweather got the bigger pop because he didn't lose, he dominated, and Manny Pacquiao, he was out of the game. He wasn't out of the game, he was still the same Pacquiao. He actually came back and beat Timothy Bradley. So he showed the best version of Pacquiao yet. But the Marquez loss hurt his reputation. That knockout. Yeah. Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather is still undefeated, still kicking ass to this day. I mean, he's about to come back and have an exhibition bout. So the point is, these guys negotiated with each other. Can you believe Canelo haven't negotiated with Andrade yet? Canelo Alvarez haven't negotiated with Andrade to this day. And
so you think it's because of the fear of competition?
He fears the competition. He don't like fighters the slick. He already knows
and how quick they are. He already
Canelo Alvarez is already aware of styles that bother him. He don't like slick styles. For example, Lara gave him a lot of trouble. Floyd Mayweather spanked him every single round. Lara beat him. He was a slick fighter. Trout nearly beat him. It was a close fight. The knockdown separated the fight, and he wasn't even fighting slick because of the open scoring. Right. Moving on. Amir Khan moved up two-weight division. Before he got knocked out, he was winning 5 rounds. Before he got knocked out. All them 4 to 5 rounds he fought, the judges had him winning. Right? And then you got to peep, all these fighters are slick fighters. Even the Kovalev fight. Kovalev known for his power, but he wasn't landing no power punches when he was fighting Canelo. And he got knocked out after that. But in the meantime, he was outboxing Canelo. And he came out stating that if you thought I won the fight, then if you thought I could win the fight, then you don't know shit about boxing, meaning that he got set up. So the point is, Canelo stayed cherry picking, and he's still cherry picking to this day. So we just want to know, when the heck you're going to fight the fighters we want you to fight, which is Andrade and Charlo. These are the main 2 guys that it ain't just me. See, I'm a critic, right? But I'm a critic. Marquez is also a critic. Barrera is also a critic. Morales, Oscar De La Hoya, his own promoter. Hopkins, another co-promoter. Chavez Sr., all these fighters, legendary fighters, in fact, that I just named, all want to see the fight. But Canelo's still maneuvering to this day. They claim he a boss, but bosses make shit happen. So if he's a boss, fight Andrade.
And that's the thing about boxing, where it's kind of turned me off a little bit because, you see basketball, the best got to play the best. And with boxing, you got to know when that's going to happen. Is it fair for other fighters, like the brothers, Charlo brothers, and Andre, Triple G, even all these fighters, is it fair for them? They have to wait while this guy just cruise around.
That's what I'm saying. And then they blame, for example, Jamel, right? He's about to fight a dangerous fighter, Rosario, a Cuban fighter. Rosario, he don't have a better resume than Charlo. But Canelo fans want to say, oh, well, who the hell these guys fought? They champions. Matter of fact, Charlo got your strap. And then they want to question their resume. But for example, Rosario, he a champion. He about to unify with Charlo, Jamel Charlo at 154, right? Jamel didn't say, who the hell Rosario fought? I'm not going to fight him. He fought him because he want to unify. That's another name on his resume that's about to make him closer to a Hall of Fame fighter. So he fought him, right? So Canelo Alvarez, if he's not going to fight Charlo, if he's not going to fight Andrade, it makes sense for him to fight better fighters than that. But he's not fighting better fighters. He's fighting a Rocky Fielding. He will fight a guy that, for example, Danny Jacob, a good fighter, but he ain't better than Andrade because his performances prove it. They fought the same guys, or like around a couple guys. They were the same. And Andrade dominate those guys every single round, while Jacob had a little trouble with those guys. But that was still Canelo Alvarez's best name to this date. You know what I mean? That was around his only fighter that he fought. That was, people was like, you know what? That's a good name. Now they talking about Canelo versus Kayla Smith. That's the fight that might be next if it's not Quigley.
Yeah.
Quigley, I don't know who the hell that is. I mean, Quigley, that's like a cab driver. No disrespect. Like, I don't even know who Quigley is. Like, I never seen him before. I never
you would
heard
think
of him
at
before.
this point of his career,
And
he
his
only need
prime.
to fight the best.
Man, this is his prime.
Right.
Errol Spence, if you look at his track record right now, he didn't fought, Kell Brook, Lamar Pearson. His mandatory ducked him, so he fought a combo. But then Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia.
And he even mentioned he wanted to keep fighting.
And he called out pound for pound number one Terrence Crawford. He will fight him in the future. So you see what I'm talking about. Canelo Alvarez, if you look at his resume, freaking Rocky Fielding.
Yeah.
Then a good fighter, Jacob. Then he will cherry pick Kovalev, who was 1 foot out of the door. So now he's talking about Caleb Smith. Caleb Smith is a champion at 168. He's a good fighter. But he tailor-made for Canelo Alvarez, and he came off a loss. He lost to his last opponent, but he robbed him. So Canelo looking at that like, man, this man just robbed his opponent pretty much because that guy beat him. He beat him.
Exactly.
So how you going to fight a fighter coming off his worstest performance? Like Mayweather, for example, he always fought fighters coming off their biggest win. Ortiz, after his biggest win when he beat Berto, he fought Guerrero after his biggest win. He fought Cotto after he beat Margarito because Margarito cheated him, loading up his glove, and then he beat Margarito. Then Floyd Mayweather beat Cotto after Cotto beat Margarito at his own division, 154. Floyd Mayweather moved up to that division. So the list goes on and on. Even he fought Manny Pacquiao after Manny Pacquiao was coming off a big win. But they take credit away from Floyd. Oh, Pacquiao was old. How is Pacquiao old? Yeah, but how is Pacquiao old when Mayweather is older than Pacquiao?
We're older than him.
And how is Pacquiao old when Pacquiao's still kicking ass to this day? Man, the man just beat Keith Thurman like he stole something. So how is Pacquiao old, but y'all claiming Pacquiao is back in his prime when he beat Keith Thurman 5 years later? So they always got excuses. Meanwhile, Canelo Alvarez will cherry pick somebody like Smith, for example. The man lost his last fight, if we all being truthful. He robbed his last opponent, but he look at him, man, this man tailor-made for me, so he's an option. Quigley, a nobody. Or Smith, Billy Joe Saunders. He was about to fight Billy Joe Saunders. Yeah. A guy fought on a YouTube undercard and nearly lost his fight against a nobody too, or his mandatory, right? So you see the pattern. He either fight nobodies or fighters coming off their worstest performances. Mm-hmm. So that's the issue with Canelo Alvarez. Now I must bring this topic up because a lot of people keep talking about Charlo, right? Charlo went on live Instagram, and when he got asked, did Canelo Alvarez and his team send you an offer? He said, big cap. They capping. They lying for the people that don't know.
He been wanting to fight.
Because he been wanting to fight. If they did send him an offer, this is how silly the claim is, right? If Canelo Alvarez and his team did send Charlo an offer, what sense does it make for Charlo to be the champion right now? So if I'm the champion and you my mandatory and I have to fight you next, so the WBC came to me, let's say I'm Canelo Alvarez, and said, you got to fight Charlo next, right? And I'm like, you know what? Send him an offer. And you turn down the offer. You don't want to fight me. You turn down the offer.
That don't make sense.
Then I'm going to keep my belt because I sent you an offer.
Right.
But they want to say Charlo turned down the offer. However, he took Canelo's strap. What sense does that make? How are you going to turn down the offer and take your opponent's strap? But it's obviously he didn't because Canelo requested a French fries title from the WBC. A title we never heard of. French fries title. I mean, you're the champion of McDonald's, right? Yeah. So what I'm pretty much saying the issue with Canelo Alvarez is you can't make moves like that and claim you pound for pound number one when you're not even the best in your division. When you're scared to hop into the Lions Den. When Charlo told you, I will fight you in Mexico City. In other words, he telling you he more Mexican than you. That's disrespectful, bro. You telling, and then next thing you be like, oh, here my strap, bro. Right. You know what I mean? And then his fans talking about, oh, he sent him an offer, man. Like they whispering to each other and shit. Man, they making dusty excuses that we gotta brush off and wipe off before talking about it. Like I said, when it comes to this WBC thing, like Errol Spence went with this, he went through the same thing with his mandatory at the time. I remember Errol Spence was supposed to fight his mandatory. Errol Spence was so feared, his own mandatory turned down the offer. He said Sanchez was his trainer. He said, man, Errol's a beast. We're not ready. Even though that's his mandatory. Right. That's a champion you're about to fight. It's an opportunity. It's a payday. But Errol was so feared, like Rigondeaux, like Mike Tyson, that the mandatory turned down the offer, right? Exactly. Did Errol Spence give him his IBF strap and request French fries title? Yeah. No, because he turned it down.
Yeah.
So he kept his belt. That dude don't get an opportunity. You move on. Canelo Alvarez, if it's true, Charlo turned down the strap. Turned down the offer. Why did you give him your strap? Why didn't you keep it? Now, what sense does that make? So that's why Canelo Alvarez fans, they don't call in. They have no cojones. Now, because of the time issue, we don't have that much time today. So I'm going to go ahead and just finish the live with my AKHi. But next show, we will have call-ins. Obviously, due to the David Morrell interview, that set me back a little bit. And due to some technical difficulties. But next show, I definitely have call-ins. And if you do want to call in, please call in on Split Decision this Sunday. Anybody want any smoke? But because last show, right? It was my birthday. Yeah. I hit 30K. I appreciate all my AKHis. Man, I was begging a decaf to call in. Matter of fact, somebody was talking trash, texting me, a Canelo fan and a Tyson Fury fan, all that. I'll call them. I'm calling them on the live because they scared to call in. When I call in, they will hang up. So, you can hear on the live, them hanging up. So, I will call them back. Yeah. And they won't pick up the damn phone, man. I'm talking about I called them 20 times. The man won't pick up. But that's
because it's hard to defend. It's hard.
You cannot
I actually like Canelo, and they use him right. He's good for the sport of boxing. But at the same time, what's the excuse?
Canelo fans are pretty much a reflection of Canelo. They got no cojones to debate the best. You know what I'm saying? AKHi the best that's doing it in the game. And his fans are pretty much just like Canelo. They being a no-show. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm just call it what it is. But we can move on to the next round.
All right, final round. Moving on to the younger talent. Devin Haney calling out everybody, Mayweather dismissed the Gervonta Davis fight, though. Will the fight happen anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, Devin Haney keep calling out Gervonta, but Floyd did come out and say, man, they're not gonna fight each other.
Yes, yeah.
I think, to be honest with you, I think that's the type of fight that break pay-per-view records in the future. Not now, in the future. But now is still a big fight. The issue with boxing, like we talked about earlier, they make this law so big that, fighters like Gervonta and Devin, they're such a huge talent. Like Mayweather look and be like, man, I've seen these guys spar. They will fight each other. Gervonta and Devin Haney sparred each other on more than one occasion. Mm-hmm. I dropped videos on that. Devin Haney talked about it and all. But you got to keep in mind when it's under the light, now you're getting paid. Now it's affecting your next payday. So Mayweather looking at it, he no longer the fighter. He can't fight for Gervonta. So he looking like, man, you know what? I'm gonna stall this. I'm gonna make Devin Haney move out of the division. It seemed like Floyd Mayweather don't want the fight for some reason. You know what I mean? Gervonta, I'm pretty sure he will fight him because Gervonta.
Is it because he thinks somebody's better than the other?
I think he saw
the sparring. If you look at both of their talents, if they fight right now and you got multiple fights coming, they don't even have to fight back to back. They can fight right now, and then they wait 2 years.
So many different fighters and then fight each other.
2 years, because they're still young. It's not like Floyd Mayweather.
But Devin Haney gonna grow out of the division.
Why?
He's tall. His frame, he gonna go to 160 and become a champion. But Gervonta, he's short. He like 5'5". His frame is made for a featherweight, but he just hit so hard. That's why they call him the baby Mike, because he hit so hard. He's so fast, but his height is the issue. Because unlike Mike Tyson, Mike used his disadvantage for his advantage, and he will use his height and come inside. But his height, he liked to box like he pretty boy, but he just got such a devastating power that obviously he's a brawler as well. He could do it both, but because he's not an aggressive fighter, he liked to box more. So, Floyd Mayweather probably looking at that like, man, Devin Haney could be a bad style matchup, which is going to give him a lot of problems. And
it's going to be for Gervonta, you mean?
For Gervonta. I think that's how Floyd Mayweather looking at it, because if Devin Haney beat Gervonta and he moves up, Gervonta can't get his lick back.
Right.
You talking about they could fight each other, and then a couple years later they could fight each other again, but that's not going to happen because Gervonta can't move past 140. 140 is too big for Gervonta. I mean, who that's 5'5", 5'6" could fight at 140. The only good thing about Gervonta, he got long arms, but so does Devin Haney. Either way, it's a 50-50 fight. Gervonta could beat Devin. Devin Haney could beat Gervonta because Gervonta got power that's like, man, he hit like, I mean, for them lower weight divisions, he hit like Nassim Hamid. Like he got power. Tough. You know what I mean? But on the other hand, Devin really got the skills to pay the bills, and he a dog. Like, you know, and they spar, like they went doghouse sparring. You fight till you quit. You know what I mean? And Floyd saw them type of sparring. So that's why he kind of like hesitant about making the fight. But either way, you know, like Devin Haney called out Gervonta. He called out all the lightweights. You know what I mean? He didn't call them duck season and, you know, making fun of them on Instagram. He on his pretty boy shit. Wants it. You know, Gervonta, on the other hand, he almost like in a position where he became money made too early. Like he's a superstar.
Like, he probably feels like he's limited.
Yeah, he a superstar. Like he became a superstar too early, or a huge star. He already the money man. People are already chasing him. Devin Haney, people running from him because they know he the real deal and they don't want to be part of his resume. Gervonta is already established and people want the smoke with him because he's already popular. I mean, Cruz avoided Rigondeaux. Cruz avoided Gary Russell. He wouldn't come close to those guys. But then all of a sudden he want to fight Gervonta. It ain't because Gervonta is sweet. Gervonta possibly about to he about to make it ugly. I'm about to leave it at that. Gervonta, if he don't knock him out in like 1 or 2 rounds, he about to make it ugly. So the reason why Cruz fought him though is because he realized, man, this right here is a huge payday, man. You know what I mean? And that's why people want to fight Gervonta. Devin Haney will be in the same position, but he's just gonna have to fight these guys, chase them down, and beat them. You gotta hunt them down, and you know, once you catch the prey, eat the prey, and then you're gonna become the man. And once you beat the man, you're gonna be the man. I mean, Floyd Mayweather wasn't the man; he beat the man and became the man, and then everybody wanted to fight him. That's awesome. You know what I mean? So again, Devin Haney's in the same shoe as Floyd, but I think Gervonta, because he was under Floyd Mayweather was his promoter. He always put him in the right position and made him a star so early that now he like Floyd Mayweather's kind of being his manager, and he like, you know what? Yeah. You know, I think Gervonta is willing to fight everybody, but I just think Floyd Mayweather is the one that's kind of like, you know, you trust me. I'm a manage your career. I'm gonna give you the Cruz. I'm gonna give you the Ryan Garcia huge paydays. It's gonna make you a superstar. And then I'm gonna give you the Lomachenko, and that's like the stamp on your resume. You beat Lomachenko, you the man, because they done hyped up the man so much. I mean, he the greatest white fighter of all time. You beat him. You the man. Yeah. You know what I mean? They talking about he pound for pound #1. So you beat him. Guess what happened? You become the man. Because he have the name. He have the star power. Now you got to have the respect. One way to earn, you can't. Money don't buy respect. So you could be the most popular fighter in the world, but money don't buy respect. Floyd Mayweather was respected because he fought the best, regardless of the decaps or what they say. The reason why Floyd Mayweather always compared to the greatest of all time, because he's one of the greatest of all time. He's 5 top greatest fighters of all time, but he earned the respect. For Gervonta to earn the respect, you're going to have to be a Lomachenko and a Devin Haney, or either one. You know what I mean? So I think Floyd looking at it, let me get him to beat Lomachenko first. And after that, the sky's the limit.
And you think, while we're on this topic with younger talent, you think somebody like Shakur Davis and mainly Devin Haney and Shakur, do you think they have a chance of being a Floyd Mayweather? I mean, that's a big name, but at least being close.
I think one of them guys will be the man to be either as close as to Floyd as far as his stardom and the legacy that he made for himself. I think they can shape out the legacy. I think I'm highly impressed by Shakur. I mean, Gervonta could be the one, but just like we talked about Mike Tyson, I'm gonna be honest, man, I don't trust his work ethic. Like time and time again, Gervonta didn't make the weight against Gamboa. He moved up 5 pounds and still didn't make the weight. Man, that bothered me, man, because I'm like, during the fight, he was telling his trainer something wrong with my body because he will get tired. You know what I mean? And you can't afford to do that against the Lomachenko or Devin Haney and Shakur. Yeah. And these the guys that will be his opponents in the future. Yeah. Hater or lover. Gervonta know that. Gervonta want to fight Devin Haney. Gervonta, that's why he told Floyd Mayweather when he saw Devin Haney and Floyd training, he was like, man, you know, Floyd Mayweather and Devin Haney the ops. I fight them both. You know, the reason why he said that, he was pretty much bothered. He looked at it like, Floyd Mayweather, man, you know, you my damn man, you my manager, you my promoter, you supposed to be my trainer. Right. How you gonna train my ops, my opponent, right? Yeah. But Floyd Mayweather came on an interview that's what kind of squashed it. Floyd said, listen, man, these fighters bothered about what fighters do. people always want to blow things out of proportion. But when my father was training Oscar De La Hoya, it never bothered me. It never bothered me because I know at the end of the day, my talent is better talent than he is. Hard work beat talent when talent doesn't work as hard. But guess what? I'm going to work harder than the talent. So I got talent and hard work on my side.
It probably did bother him, but he never let it show.
But he didn't care. He didn't care where it's like, oh, is he going to beat me? Because my dad training him.
Because of how confident he was.
Oscar never was able to do the shoulder roll. Regardless of what his dad taught him, he never had the reflexes. See, to do shoulder roll, you got to have footwork.
He probably wanted. I don't think he could have done the shoulder roll, but he probably
he learned a lot of things.
He was like, okay, he knows Floyd Mayweather probably better than anybody.
Right.
That's why more than teaching him shoulder roll.
Right. That's a great point. He probably learned like, hey, now I got the blueprint to beat Floyd, but he still couldn't. He didn't have the green print because he got beat. But the point is, Floyd. His point was on Fat Joe podcast. He was like, man, if Devin Haney and Gervonta, I know Devin Haney from a young age, and I know Gervonta is my fighter. So I felt as a fighter when my dad was training Oscar, it didn't bother me because I knew I had the better talent. I had the better skill. So when Gervonta heard that, he was like, you know what? He is right. I feel like Devin Haney ain't better than me. I just got to work hard and work harder than him, and no way he could beat me because I already got the talent on my side. So if I got hard work on my side as well, I'm a winner at the end of the day. So that's how he looked at it. And when he fought him, like obviously he, that's why they squashed the beef and he reunited with Mayweather. So the point is, Gervonta wants to fight. Devin Haney wants to fight. I think Floyd Mayweather being the roadblock. Floyd Mayweather looking at it like, man, there's so many fights y'all can make. Devin Haney could fight.
And you think that's the problem with boxing because of all the promoters and slowing things down? You think if it was more boxer driven, just like basketball, but
there's tournaments, boxing be the best
player
sport.
Dominant.
Yeah.
If boxing was that, you think it would be a different story in terms of fighters?
If boxing have tournaments, it'd be the most dominant sport. Because see, for me to watch basketball, I gotta know a lot of players. I mean, it's still entertaining regardless. Like I don't gotta know LeBron. I don't gotta know any player. It's still entertaining because unlike soccer, for example, somebody's always scoring shots. You know what I mean? Boxing.
You mean basketball?
Yeah, basketball. Soccer, you gotta wait like a half hour. Nobody scored a damn game. You know what I mean? It's like, no, where's the goal at? And you can fall asleep.
Is the excitement is when that first goal happens. That's
the excitement.
That's what the people watch it for.
Well, boxing, you have the knockout, which is the excitement, but you also have the punches in between. The defense, the sweet science.
I used to be when I wanted to watch fights. And that's when I learned to appreciate Floyd Mayweather a lot more. When I used to watch fights, I
just want to see punches
because of Nassim Hamed.
Yeah,
in terms of how he was dancing and knocking people out. And then once I started watching boxing and the footwork and the hand, even the jab impresses me now. Yeah. When I see somebody using the jab
properly. Yeah. And that's the point. Like, boxing has so much into it. It's an eye opener. So anybody could watch a great fight.
Yeah.
Anybody will sit down and watch the best versus the best. You know why? Because you about to find out who the baddest man on the planet. You know what I mean? You don't give a damn who it is. Like, I'm about to see who the baddest man on the planet because see, UFC is cool, but all that wrestling, crap, at the end of the day, they wrestling. You know what I mean? Right. People are not interested in wrestling as much. But boxing is strictly hands. So you talking about fist wise, I'm gonna fight you. You know what I mean? I don't want to say like fight you like a man, but it's mainly like a dominant sport with hands. And it's entertaining because you throwing hands the whole night. So the point is when the best fight the best, it's always entertaining. Now picture this. I'm about to paint a perfect picture for you. In boxing, if there's a tournament in every weight division, and every year or two, the tournament will have a winner in every weight division, man, you will have pretty much a superstar in every weight division. And the superstar, there's going to be a tournament every 2 years. So every month you should have a huge tournament.
Do you think having too many belts is a problem for boxing?
Yeah, that too. But I think the camera done went out. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Yeah. You know what I mean? So with that being stated, subscribe. We definitely have call-ins next show and split decision every Sunday. So with that being said, man, subscribe. I'm sorry to all my keys.
We got camera.
Go ahead, take care of all that.
I bear witness there's only one God, Allah and Muhammad. Damn, I'm looking.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hold it, you're not that crazy. Oh my God, man! I took up the wall!
I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah,